This is rental car number 109, and today I'm driving the 2019 Kia Sorento LX. This one is the V6 with all-wheel drive. This is considered to be a mid-sized crossover SUV, and it happens to be the third generation of the Sorento. They've been making this particular model since 2015. When you throw in all the bells and whistles on this one, it retails for about $35,000, and it's got a lot of fun stuff to talk about, so I want to just jump right in. When you pop open the hood, you're going to find a 3.3-liter V6 engine. It's an 8-speed automatic with Kia's manual mode. That's just marketing terminology, meaning if you want to, you can pop that gear shift over to the left and shift those gears manually. Horsepower is pretty good, 290. You also get 5,000 pounds of towing capacity, which is pretty comparable to some of the smaller pickup trucks I've been driving lately. Miles per gallon is also pretty good, 19 miles per gallon in the city, 24 on the highway with an 18.8-gallon fuel tank. Gas by me is, in the Chicago suburbs, I should say, in the middle of the winter. It's about $2.20 per gallon. That means you can fill this thing up for about $41. Alright, so that's a lot of specs, but let's talk about what it's actually like to drive this car. I should say right off the bat that I do drive a Kia minivan mostly on the weekends when I'm schlepping the kids around town, so I'm used to how Kias feel. And, well, I like this one quite a bit. It's super comfortable. It felt really stable around all the corners, and it was comfortable at high speeds. I didn't feel like the car was shaking or like it was trying too hard when I pushed it up to 70 or 80 miles an hour. Acceleration is also really nice. It's kind of punchy, so it's super responsive when you hit that gas pedal. Car and Driver claims you can go 0 to 60 in this one in 7.2 seconds. I did not try that out. Drove a little bit conservative with this one, but I was happy with it. I never felt like I was going real slow, and I felt really comfortable when I needed to accelerate onto the interstate or pass somebody. So all in all, I was really happy with the performance of the Sorento.
So here's the key fob. 4 buttons on the front: lock, unlock, a hatch release, and a panic button. Kia's logo on the back. It's made out of nice, high-quality materials. It's got a really good weight to it. Press this little silver button right here on the top to release the physical key, and then you can start the car up just like you'd expect by putting it into the ignition. Here's the steering wheel setup. You have buttons here on the left-hand side to interact with your phone, along with a volume toggle switch and a mode selection button right here that allows you to cycle through some of the entertainment features here on the center display. On the right-hand side of the steering wheel, you have buttons to interact with cruise control, along with a menu button right here that helps you navigate through the screen up here on the gauge cluster. Now, I happen to like Kia's setup quite a bit just because it's so easy to find and adjust settings. Let me give you a quick example. So if you hit the menu button to cycle through all the screens, go to the user settings, then select the door menu by pressing the OK button right here, cycle down, there's horn feedback. So you can turn on or off the car's ability to beep at you when you lock the vehicle just by interacting with this setting right here. I love that. Usually to turn this on and off, you have to hit a number of secret buttons on the key fob to get the vehicle to turn on or off that feature. But for everything on the Kia, it's right here in the menu structure. Love that. The gauge cluster is also very nice. On the left, you have your RPMs along with a temperature gauge. On the right, you have your speedometer along with a fuel gauge down there on the bottom. Center display on the gauge cluster is a little bit small, and the fonts are a little bit smaller than I'd like, but it is pretty easy to view things while you're driving, though you don't get a lot of colors. This is a black and white screen. Towards the left of the steering wheel, you have a number of standard buttons here, buttons to interact with the windows, your mirror controls, your door locks. You also have buttons up here on the dash. This switch right here adjusts the brightness in the gauge cluster. You also have the ability to turn on and off blindside detection simply by pressing this button, and the same thing with traction control right here. Down below there, you have the button to release the fuel cap. And then a little bit further down, you'll see you have a push pedal parking brake right here. Up top, we have a really simple setup. Just 2 buttons right here to turn on and off the lights that illuminate the cabin, and then a simple sunglass holder right here. Rear view mirror is also simple, and I don't say that in a bad way. I just mean there are no additional buttons anywhere on the rear view mirror. You just get the toggle switch right here to adjust the mirror in case someone is shining their bright lights at you from behind. Below there is the center display. I happen to like this one quite a bit. You have dedicated buttons on the left and the right side to interact with everything. This is a touchscreen, so you do get some nice sized icons to interact with all the features, along with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay automatically loaded on the vehicle. I found connecting my phone via Bluetooth to be really simple. You just have to go into the setup screen and then into the Bluetooth menu, and I was able to connect my phone within a matter of about a minute. So all in all, I found this to be really easy to interact with and easy to view too while I was driving. Down below there you have the temperature controls. Nice dials on the left and right side to interact with the temperature settings. These have rubber right on top, so it makes it easy to grip and turn. They're also really precise. You just have to do small little adjustments and you can adjust the temperature setting. A digital gauge right here to show you what temperature you're setting the vehicle at, and then simple buttons down below to interact with the fan and switch where the vents are blowing. Below there you get a storage area. Let me move the gear shift out of the way. Decent size to keep your cell phone, along with 2 power ports, an auxiliary jack, and a USB port down here. Gear shift is made in plastic but has a nice leather on the bottom. Shifts to the gears really smoothly, and you do have sport shift capability. That means that you can simply push the gear shift over to the left, and then you'll be able to shift the gears manually simply by pushing up or down while you're driving. Down below there is the drive mode toggle button right here. This shifts through a number of different features for the vehicle. So if you look up in the main display, you'll see that you can go from comfort to eco to sport and then to smart mode. You know, I played around with this quite a bit, but to be honest, I didn't see a huge difference in all of the different modes, although I didn't do a lot of testing when it came to miles per gallon. You also have another storage area right here, probably perfect to keep some change. 2 cup holders, and then an additional storage area right here, right in front of the center armrest. Nice leather on top, opens up to reveal a small removable tray, along with a decent sized storage area, and then a USB port right there. Gotta move my water bottle. On the passenger side, we do have a glove box. A little bit small in my opinion, but you'll see that you do get a nice owner's manual with this vehicle in a leather case. Let me show you real quick. Nice size owner's manual. That thing is pretty thick. 2019 Sorento. So although the glove box is a little bit small in my opinion, there's still plenty of room for your owner's manual, your registration, and pretty much everything else you usually keep in this area. Alright, so I climbed into the back seat. You'll notice that there's plenty of leg room back here, probably 4 or 5 inches between my knees and the back of that front seat. That's pretty nice. And I keep these seats pushed back pretty far because I'm about 6 feet tall and I need that extra leg room while I'm driving. A couple other things of note. There are some small pockets, kind of created out of this mesh material on the back of both seats. You also have dedicated vents back here for your passengers, and then down below it's nice to see that there's a USB port and a power port down here for your passengers to use. Not much else as far as amenities go. You just have your window control, door latch and door lock right here. One thing I do like to look at is what the center armrest is like. This one folds down. It's a little bit tight, but pretty easily. And then it looks like you have 2 small cup holders right here. And then let's take a look at the car seat anchors. If you'll notice, you can actually see the car seat anchors without manipulating the seats at all. That's a good sign. That'll mean that you can connect a car seat relatively easily in this vehicle without having to really push and pull to get access to those anchors. Alright, so let's close things out by opening up the hatch and taking a look inside. Now, what you see right here is with those third row seats folded down all the way, and you have plenty of cargo space in this configuration. However, when you do pull those third row seats up, when you engage them, and you do that just by pulling on these little cords right here, it's actually really simple. But anyway, when you have those third row seats up, you'll see that you don't get a lot of storage space back here. It's actually pretty small, probably big enough to keep some groceries back here, but not a whole lot else.
It is nice to see, though, that underneath the floor in this area you do have a large storage space that can hold some tools and some other odds and ends. When you do jump into the actual third row, it's pretty obvious right away that this is not built for a normal size adult. I'm 6 feet tall and I was pretty uncomfortable back there. I did fit, but I wouldn't want to inflict this on anybody that I actually like. But honestly, if you're going to buy a crossover SUV like this, you're probably not going to use the third row seat that often, or if you do, it's probably just for kids, so they'll be fine back here. When you do fold down the third row seats and you fold down the back row seats, which is actually pretty easy, you just pull up on this little lever right here. But when you fold down those seats, you get even more room, and you can really take advantage of all the storage space on the Sorento. Alright, so that's pretty much everything end to end on the 2019 Kia Sorento. I think this is actually the first time I've ever driven and reviewed this car, and I liked it quite a bit. And I've been driving a lot of SUVs lately, so I think that says something. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you join me next time when I rent and review my 110th rental car. I'll see you then.